Coming up on OU Nightly, a tornado watch has been issued for Cleveland County and the University of Oklahoma. Everything you need to know coming up in just a minute.
Plus, early voters waiting hours to cast their ballot. We're live with team coverage. And we have the very latest on those wicked wildfires raging in Oklahoma. This is OU Nightly.
Check this out. This is the line for people who want to vote early. Wow, this is crazy.
History made with lines longer than ever before on Oklahoma's first day of early voting.
Well, thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm meteorologist Chloe Arroyo.
And I'm Kennedy Patterson. We will get right to the record-breaking long lines for early voting.
But first, as OU Nightly's senior meteorologist, I can tell you we have issued a campus weather alert day. Now, this is because we are currently under a tornado watch. We also have a high risk for hail and damaging winds right here on campus. The largest team of collegiate meteorologists is all over this, so let's start with team coverage with meteorologist Sam Patterson. Sam?
Thank you, Chloe. That's exactly right. Like you just said, tornado watch out for us right now till 9 p.m. Coupled intense tornadoes possible as we move throughout the overnight hours. Hail, like you said, above 2.5 inches in diameter possible as well. We've already seen some damage up to the northwest. Storms are on their way here still, so we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. We are also on the edge of a slight and enhanced risk. Now remember, this is October, not April, but this is a very spring-like setup. As Chloe said, we are doing team coverage right now. Carlin McCurry is live outside, taking a look at what students should do to prepare for this event. Carlin?
Yeah, Sam, I mean, temperatures are high, dew points are high. It's the air that you can wear outside, and that's how you know it's a severe weather day. And on days like today, students go to the garages to shield their car from large sizes of hail, and today is definitely the day to do so. So I'm recommending all students go ahead and move those cars to protect them from the large hail on the way that is possible tonight. Sam?
Thank you, Carlin. Of course, take a look at the timeline for us tonight. Out west, we're already seeing those storms 4 to 7 p.m. Now more for our Norman area. Earliest start could be 5 or 6 p.m., more likely around the 7 o'clock hour. Those will head toward about midnight. As storms will form into a line, they'll head out towards the east and out of the state. We'll take a look at all that and more coming up in just a little bit.
All right, well, thanks, Sam. We'll get back right over to you if anything changes during the newscast. Now, record-breaking lines kicking off early voting here in Oklahoma today, and we have team coverage on this story, too. Now, let's start with my fellow meteorologist, Garrett Tarver. Garrett, you're out watching the weather and the long lines out there at Sooner Mall here in Norman.
Well, I'm here at the Sooner Mall in Norman, and man, the wind is whipping. My hair's going everywhere. We're all getting hit in the face with sand and leaves, but that's not stopping people from coming out here. There's just been a constant stream of cars coming in. All the parking lots here at the Sooner Mall are getting filled up very quickly. We have a parking lot all the way from Longhorn Steakhouse around Dillard's is full, and the line you can see behind me really starting to get through is about a couple hundred yards long at this point. Now, it was quite a bit longer this morning as people continue to come in, but I talked to someone and they said that's not going to stop them from coming out here to vote.
Honestly, probably, because I've never voted before, and now this is my first year voting, and I feel like it's a pretty big election, not gonna lie.
That is true. So you think you're going to...
You know, it's just another day in Oklahoma for people here. I mean, they're used to the wind, and everyone is out here ready to vote, ready to cast their ballot. We'll continue to see these lines. We'll see if they continue to stay this long over the next few days until we get to Tuesday, or for the big election day. Back to you.
Well, thanks, Garrett. About 15 miles north of campus in the town Moore, folks are waiting outside the public library to vote. OU Nightly's Olivia Hayes continues our election coverage. Olivia?
Yeah, Chloe, Kennedy, if I could describe the energy here in one word, it would be excitement. I visited 3 of the 4 polling locations available to voters in Cleveland County today, including right here at Moore Public Library.
People from across the Cleveland County area coming out to make their voices heard in this year's election.
Didn't think the lines would be this long, so.
I thought I was coming early and I'd avoid this, but
All with their own reasons for casting a ballot.
I'm voting to save America.
I plan on providing services for people in my neighborhood who don't have a right to vote on the 5th.
Most definitely women's reproductive rights. That is a big thing for me. But one call to action remains the same.
it's a pretty big election. This is important. Just get out and vote. Yeah.
Now, if you're in Cleveland County and looking to vote before November 5th, early polling locations are also open at Sooner Mall, Moore Norman Technology Center, and the Noble Library. Reporting live in Moore, Olivia Hayes, OU Nightly.
Well, thanks, Olivia. We continue our team coverage now in Oklahoma City, just a block or so from the state capitol, where OU Nightly's Abigail Franklin is live at the Oklahoma County Election Board. Abigail, lines of cars backed up for blocks out there. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We will get back to that story as soon as we possibly can. And at the center of all these long lines, the race for the White House. Today, we know Vice President Kamala Harris is trying to clarify comments made by President Biden and Trump supporters. Julia Roberts has the details from us for the OU Nightly Election Center. Julia.
Vice President Harris is making it is clear she does not agree with President Biden's comment. The president referred to Trump supporter as the only garbage he sees during a video conference.
Let me be clear, I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for.
Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters. He called them garbage. And they mean it.
The White House says President Biden's statement was not directed toward Trump supporters, but the comedian at Trump's rally who made comments about Puerto Rico being a floating island of garbage. Just days before the election, the Virginia Supreme Court ruled the state can remove anyone suspected of being a non-citizen from its registration rolls. State Republicans sent the case to the Supreme Court after a federal appeals court upheld a ruling to reinstate the registration of about 1,600 people. As for the candidates, Vice President Harris is in Pennsylvania making a campaign stop through the swing state. Meanwhile, former President Trump is headed to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where he is holding a rally with former NFL player Brett Favre. Chloe, Kennedy, back to you ladies.
Well, thanks, Julia. That wicked wind out there is fueling wildfires across Oklahoma.
Coming up on OU Nightly, how Oklahomans are recovering after thousands of acres have burned over the last few days.
And wild weather in Spain, a close-up look at fierce flooding in that country, coming up in Earth Report.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. we push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
And wildfires impact all over the Sooner State, and flooding in Spain leaves nearly 100 people dead. Also, litter is clogging Hawaii's largest recreational boat harbor. Kosin Pocock has more in Earth Report.
Several homes and vehicles are left burned in Lincoln and Logan counties after dozens of wildfires across the state Tuesday. Fire officials are still working to learn the extent of the damage. And near the Wichita Mountains, fire crews are working to contain the massive Rush Fire. That fire has burned at least 12,000 acres, shutting down the wildlife refuge. And at least 95 people are dead and several others missing after flash floods in southeast Italy. Spain's weather agency says up to 12 inches of rain fell in just a few hours. Right now, more than 1,000 troops are deployed to help cleanup and recovery efforts, and the government decreed 3 days of mourning for the victims of the flooding. Items like mattresses, tires, bottles, and chairs are clogging a Honolulu boat harbor after heavy rains caused flash flooding. According to the Honolulu Fire Department, 2 people were rescued during the flash flooding in the area, but no injuries or deaths have been reported. Government officials said cleanup efforts are underway. And this year's White House Christmas tree has been picked. The 20-footer is coming from a farm in North Carolina. The tree will make its debut in the White House on November 25th. Kennedy, Chloe, back to you.
Well, thanks, Colson. Now, still ahead, an update on the trick-or-treating event held by sorority and fraternity members.
Everything you need to know coming up.
And a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings are already issued. We'll take a look at those coming up right after this.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. The largest team of collegiate meteorologists are watching for severe weather here in the state of Oklahoma. Several severe thunderstorm warnings already in place up towards the Enid area, I believe wind gusts have been recorded at 65 miles per hour. Several trees and power poles have been broken up there. This is more of a linear system. What we are really watching for in Norman over the next couple of hours are a few discrete cells that might develop near the Lawton area, track up 44 towards Norman, the Oklahoma City metro area. Of course, we will keep an eye on that as we move throughout the next several hours. As we mentioned earlier, tornado watch in place right through here where we just look on radar. That's where those storms are at, making their way eastward across the state. We'll see them here in the next couple of hours. Live look outside. Typically, we'd love to see this in fall, but it's about the worst situation we can have right now. The sun is out, a few clouds here and there, but sunshine hitting the ground. 81 degrees for us right now. We sat about 70 this morning. I believe we went up about 5 degrees in about an hour. Seeing dew points at 64 as well. Both of those numbers are going to be the main force behind our storms tonight. You can see up towards the northwest, that cold front making their way. Guymon at 61. Woodward at 77 because of those storms. Rain-cooled air is cooling off the temperature there. But mid-80s for us here in central Oklahoma and across the majority of the rest of the state. Pretty much a similar story there. The other mechanism we are looking at is the dry line. See, it developed out west as well. Guymon dew point 39 degrees. Woodward sitting at 42. You can see how sharp it is. There's a 20-degree difference between Elk City and the warm, moist air as opposed to just to the west where it's just warm, dry air. A lot of that is forcing, allowing air to rise and pulling up our storms. Taking a look at Futurecast right now, you can see those storms as we're seeing right now. As we move throughout the next couple of hours, we could see a few linear storms and discrete storms as well develop and make their way on through the Norman area around 7, 8, 9 p.m. That'll be the main story for us tonight. More linear of a system afterwards. We clear out for your Thursday. Halloween will be nice and dry, but we got to get through this night first. Severe weather timeline, as I mentioned, for us tonight. Now through 5 p.m., we'll have those storms develop out towards to the west. They'll make their way north and east. We could see a few discrete supercells develop. That is what we will really watch for our tornado possibility, after which we will see storms develop into a line across the state. That will be the main wind and hail threat for us. Could see a few embedded rotations as well. And then storms will begin to move east. Carlin McCreary is in the studio with us to give us a look at what we should do to prepare for these storms tonight. Carlin?
Yeah, Sam, especially on days like today, it's important to know where to go in case of a tornado warning. And for those of you in Greek houses and dorms, you probably already know where to go due to campus leadership. But for those of you in apartment buildings, be sure to definitely remember lowest level, most interior room of the building. If you have any friends that live on the lower level, call them, say, hey, I need to make a plan. It's a great idea to do so. Or if you have any friends with a basement, also a great plan to do so. But obviously, do not drive during a tornado warning or any type of severe thunderstorm warning either. So make sure to have that plan in advance and keep an eye on the weather as we will have updates continuing the rest of the evening. Sam?
Thank you, Carlin. We'll take a look at our next 7 days real quick. As I said, severe weather tonight for us, and then we're going to clear up for the next couple of days. Rain showers right after that, 4 days in a row, hot and dry. Severe weather, rain, crazy mix of weather for us right here. This is how we're going to develop into November, though.
And Sam, where can students stay informed tonight?
Absolutely. We'll be on social media, but also we'll be on Weather Call. For just $1 a month, you can get a call from Chloe or myself telling you a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning has been issued for our area.
All right, well, thanks so much for the update, Sam.
Of course.
Now, this evening's trick-or-treat event hosted by fraternity and sorority programs and services has been canceled due to inclement weather. The event has not been immediately rescheduled, but your campus weather authority will continue to follow any developments as storms move through the area. And OU football has a break from the SEC weekend against Maine.
Hallie McPherson has an update on the injury report next in sports.
And there is a storm brewing in Oklahoma. And no, I'm not talking about the severe weather. The Thunder are back in the Paycom Center. OU men's basketball is heating up too. Stick with us to hear what Coach Porter Moser thinks about his new squad.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
I'm Hallie McPherson, and it's time for sports. There is no SEC injury report tonight as Maine is a non-conference game. Wide receiver J.J. Hester says that Sooner fans shouldn't be worried as there are young guys who can step up for their teammates on the sideline.
The chopper will carry water, your time might not come now, but just keep working, and eventually your time will come. I'm pretty sure Jacob didn't expect to have a great game against South Carolina, and his name was called and he showed up. If you guys see him at practice, he's always grinding hard. So what he's doing is, we've seen it, so we're used to it. So I'm just happy for him, for real. He's been in the back waiting just to shine, and he's going out there and having fun. So I'm happy for him.
Porter Moser and his squad take the court tonight at 6 in the LNC for the Crimson and Cream scrimmage. With a lot of new names added to the roster, head coach Porter Moser knows the returning players are key.
Does for you is the new guys come in the program, and when you can especially have more than two. My vision of where Oklahoma basketball is going to get is that there's like 8 or 9 coming back. And those 8 or 9 are telling the new guys, this is how we do things. This is how hard we go. This is our standards. Jalen and Sam have been doing that. But that the retention of those two was key for us because they're our toughest guys. They're both athletic going into the SEC.
On to Oklahoma women's hoops. Sophomore Sahara Williams was on the Cheryl Miller Award watch list. This award is given to the top small forward in women's Division I basketball. Fans can vote and support their favorite player this Friday. Fans had their first look at the 10th ranked women's basketball team last night. Top transfer and preseason All-American Reagan Beers had a double-double in her Sooner debut. Beers had 12 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Sahara Williams led the team with 17 points, wrapping up the preseason with a 114-47 Sooner win against Oklahoma Christian. Staying on the court and into the pros, Buddy Buckets is living up to his nickname. Hield scored a season-high 28 points with 1 rebound and 1 assist last night for the Warriors. Golden State won 124-106 against the Pelicans. Bringing it back to Oklahoma, the Oklahoma City Thunder host the San Antonio Spurs tonight. The Thunder are 3-0 to start the season for the first time since 2016. Tip-off is at 8:30. Kennedy, Chloe?
Well, thanks, Hallie. It's Halloween Eve, and the sweet treats are already in full-fledged.
Stick around to see how this Halloween classic sweet is getting an early celebration when we return.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
With an update on a crash involving a Norman school bus. Norman police say one student on that bus was hospitalized after a crash this morning near Highway 9 and 72nd. Norman Public Schools tells me at least 5 students were on that bus at the time of the crash. 2 people inside the car that collided with the bus were also hospitalized. Police say the school bus driver was ticketed for the crash. Chloe Kennedy.
Thanks, Cariana. And though the candy rush won't be in full effect until tomorrow, there's one sweet treat that is getting an early start. It's National Candy Corn Day.
The Halloween classic treat first hit taste buds in the late 1880s. And over 100 years later, it still sits as a Halloween favorite with the candy's evolution of different flavors and looks. And candy corn is seasonal for this time of year, but one thing that isn't seasonal for this time of year is the severe weather threat that we're seeing. So we're going to toss it back over to Sam Patterson for a final check of the weather.
You're absolutely right, Chloe. As you can see, still right now, 4 or 5 severe thunderstorm warnings going off for us up towards the northwest. We are still watching a few discrete cells down here. You can see this cell to the northwest of Lawton appears to be intensifying just a little bit right now. Be sure to stay with us tonight, as we will continue to track this as the largest team of collegiate meteorologists in the country. We'll be on standby next 7 days as well after we get through this severe risk, 4 days straight of weather. But going to be a pretty nice Halloween on top of everything. But of course, stay with us for severe weather coverage throughout the night.
Yes, absolutely. So OU Nightly will be live this evening if we get severe storms. So
that is the plan, absolutely.
So absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Sam. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Chloe Arroyo.
And I'm Kennedy Patterson. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.
Hate is loud.